kein Open Qualifier zusammengespielt haben, zumindest ein bisschen Zeit bekommen, sich auf diesen Cup auch auf die anderen Teams einzustellen. Und gerade natürlich auch so Spielerinnen wie der Pivotless oder eben auch so eine wie Clef sind uns ja auch über letztes Jahr über diese längeren Zeitraum ans Herz gewachsen. Und die spielen ja auch bei Solari. Und ich glaube auch gerade, dass gerade diese Storylines, diese Underdogs uns einfach immer besonders am Herzen liegen werden. Wir lieben unsere Underdogs.
Das habe ich gestern auch schon gemerkt. Also mit Tucson haben wir auch immer mal wieder für die Underdogs so gecheert. Apropos Analysten, du hast es gerade schon einmal angeschnitten. Ich würde es aber gerne natürlich nochmal sagen. Also heute haben wir in der Analyse-Ecke übrigens Kani, der natürlich auch am Poststream ist und dann zwischendrin mal wieder reinkommt.
Hi.
Ganz professionell bewertet, was da so in den Games eigentlich abgegangen ist. Ich habe schon gehört, ich habe mir schon sagen lassen, dass man bei Kanis, Guesses sehr vorsichtig sein muss, dass es sehr gefährlich werden kann für ein Team. Also, Gruß geht raus an Kani, wähle weise, was du heute sagst in der Analyse-Ecke. Das könnte vielleicht gefährlich werden.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Also ich saß mit ihm im LEC Co-Stream und ich will nicht sagen, das war der erste Tag, an dem SK plötzlich nicht mehr delivered hat, aber vielleicht war es der erste Tag, an dem SK plötzlich nicht mehr delivered hat.
Upsi.
Dann
SK. Nein, SK.
Vorsichtig sein.
Ich muss ja sagen, auch gerade SK Everose hat ja auch immer wieder auch delivered. Ich finde auch, dass sie gestern auch gar nicht schlecht gespielt haben. Ich fand halt, sie waren halt gestern an vielen Stellen entweder ein bisschen zu aggressiv oder gerade auch im allerersten Game ein bisschen zu passiv unterwegs. Bis auf eben die Mel von, die mir sehr gut gefallen hat, von Apollonia, war es halt einfach ein Game, wo du wirklich so gemerkt hast, so okay gut, wir scalen und hoffen, dass dieses Scaling irgendwo hinführt. Und am Ende haben sie halt dann ein Team getroffen mit den Nexus Reapers, die das Game halt dann finishen konnte. Deswegen hoffe ich, dass es ein bisschen Gas gibt. Denn ich mag es wirklich nicht, wenn diese Teams so richtig krass Richtung Late Game gehen. Das werden wir auch nachher noch bei einem ganz besonderen Experten sehen, beim Expertenteam sehen am heutigen
Σε 3 λεπτάκια ξεκινάμε, ομάδα.
Aber auf jeden Fall, Last Airlines haben
Πήσαν ακόμα κομπλέ. Έχουμε ήχο.
Deswegen muss sich SK auf jeden Fall da warm anziehen.
Ja, und vielleicht hören wir uns doch auch einfach mal an, was Last Minute Airlines so über dieses Matchup denkt und was sie mir am Media Day eigentlich verraten haben.
Okay, then there's a big opponent on your second day, SK Everosa. Are you anxious? What do you think about it? Will it be another walk in the park, maybe?
I mean, not a walk in a park this time, but I do think that we have a really interesting group in Group B, where like we have, SK probably is the favorites to finish first in the group, but I think comparative to Group A, it's a group where most of the teams probably could compete for that first space. So I think it would be an interesting game, and if we can get the 2-0, we can look to finish first in the group. So, wow.
Ja, und das ist auch so ein Vibe, den ich, glaube ich, generell von Last Minute Airlines wahrgenommen habe. Die wissen schon, dass sie was können, aber sie haben auch einen gesunden Respekt vor den anderen Teams. Und ich glaube, das ist schon so mit einer Einstellung, die man gut haben kann. Oder seht ihr das anders? Würdet ihr sagen, man muss so immer volle Kanne Selbstbewusstsein und auf keinen Fall irgendwie Schwäche zeigen?
Also, wenn du mich fragst, ist es, glaube ich, wirklich immer ein
Schon auf
bisschen
6
die Mischung.
Makati.
Weil ich habe es auch schon mitbekommen, dass Teams sich wirklich zu safe gefühlt haben und dann angefangen haben, gerade auch so, ich sag mal, Opponents, die in der Tabelle weiter unten angesiedelt sind, plötzlich nicht mehr ernst zu nehmen.
Ja.
Und dann passiert es, dass einem gerade solche Games dann wegrutschen. Und das sieht natürlich total blöd aus, wenn du als potenzieller Tournament-Favorite dann gegen ein Team verlierst, was
Λοιπόν, θα μπούμε στο mood.
sein müsste. Also ich denke, es muss immer die richtige Mischung zwischen Cockiness und auch so ernstzunehmendem Tournament-Behavior sein. Ich weiß nicht, ob Annika das anders sieht, weil ich weiß, du stehst auf Banter, deswegen, hey.
Ich mag
Νομίζω πιο ωραίο είναι το κόκκινο.
wenn Teams sagen, sie haben eine gewisse Confidence, mit der sie in die Sache reingehen. Weil ganz ehrlich, wenn du dich daran glaubst, dass du ein Team besiegen kannst, so, warum solltest du es dann besiegen können, wenn halt eben dann auch die Mentalität, wenn man sagt so von Anfang an, okay gut, wir gewinnen eh nicht gegen die, dann pick ich halt jetzt irgendwas in der Laning Phase vielleicht behind fällt. Deswegen mag ich schon, wenn auf jeden Fall
Πόσο μιλάνε ρε αυτά στα γερμανικά, μα την Παναγία.
um vielleicht dann halt eben auch den Goliath in der Gruppe zu besiegen. Und ich würde trotzdem sagen, auch nach dem 2-0-2 gestern von SK ist halt immer noch SK eine absolute Wucht. Aber ich glaube auch gerade, dass halt eben all diese Spielerinnen haben ja eigentlich Erfahrung auch schon gegen dieses Team sammeln können. Jetzt mal ausgenommen von Toplane.
Hello, hello. Γεια σου ρε. Hello May. What's up?
Zu erwartenden Picks geben, weil ich muss auch sagen, die SK Drops gestern waren
Καλώς το
die
κάνεις.
waren sehr typisch.
Τρεις ήταν και χθες ρε.
Viel Neues bei rum. Also man konnte sich ja jetzt schon gut drauf vorbereiten.
Ja, da würde ich doch sagen, wir hören uns auch nochmal an, wie
Ρε βάλ το άλλο.
einschätzt.
Okay, so on match day
Red
2,
color.
Last Minute Airlines with a very interesting name.
3 hours practice.
Yeah, are there any
Wow.
players you think
Yeah, I
are
saw on
better
Discord.
to your team?
It was good. The practice went good. Went good. Team Messiah. Who's Messiah? Ποιο είναι Messiah?
And I think Talter is a really good top laner. So I'm really excited to see what she brings to that team and like how she improved her champion pool and her way
Ah,
of
Messiah.
we will win. Okay.
All right.
Τυχαία βγάζουν την
Ja,
έπρεση
also
συνέχεια.
man hört schon, ne? Die Spielerinnen sind unter anderem bekannt.
Yes, we did so good against Ego Kids Holy. Expose them. Who was our enemy today? And who carried today?
Das ist ja auch so ein Ding, was sich aufs Gameplay überträgt. Who knows? Vielleicht kommen die da übers Late. You never know.
Ja, ich glaube, you never know ist so ein bisschen
Sometimes you'll just run down the
tatsächlich der Name of the
practice.
game, wenn es
Yeah,
zu den
I know.
Qualifier-Teams und diesen ja, neueren Teams kommt. Aber ich finde es auch gut, dass Empress immer sehr ehrlich ist, auch darüber zu sagen, so, ey, ich bin gespannt, ich habe mit denen schon gespielt, ich habe gegen die sehr viel Erfahrung und dass sie sehr offen damit umgeht, aber natürlich trotzdem zu der
Aya did very good at Yellow, bro. Aya was our player like 3 years ago. I remember her. She was really good.
Aber wir sind halt besser. Und deswegen freue ich mich, das zu sehen. Ich bin hyped da drauf.
Ja, und ich muss auch sagen, ich meine, vielleicht haben wir heute sogar eine große Chance tatsächlich für dich, Lucy, dass wir vielleicht den Sona sehen könnten. Denn ich glaube, wenn wir eine Sona im Tournament sehen, dann kommt sie vermutlich von Dudley. Die spielt die unglaublich gerne in der
Let me
Solo-Queue.
check.
Also mal gucken, vielleicht Däumchen gedrückt halten. Wer weiß, was da auf Seiten von Last Minute Airlines vielleicht extra für dich nochmal eingeflogen wird.
She's God.
Ich bin sehr, sehr
I
gespannt.
agree.
Ich freue mich auf alles, was jetzt kommt. Und deshalb würde ich euch beiden auch schon mal sagen, macht es euch bequem, bereitet euch vor. Ihr dürft nämlich ja gleich das
I think we didn't start yet.
Währenddessen schaue ich mir nochmal zusammen mit dem Chat an, welche Spielerin wir gleich hier auf dem Page sehen werden. In der Kluft
I hope
der
so.
Beschwörer, Leute. Ja, wir haben gerade schon viel drüber gesprochen, ne? Also SK Rosa gestern schon gesehen. Last Minute Airlines haben natürlich schon gespielt, aber wir haben sie auch noch nicht gesehen. Und da werden wir heute Telch auf der Top-Lane sehen, Sana im Jungle, Lilium auf der Mid-Lane, Nadi als ADC und als Supporter haben wir Dudley. Und wie ich schon gehört und gesehen habe, spielt sie
Fail clean feed again.
Lasst
Ja,
mich gerne mal wissen, Chat, was ist der beste Sonos-Skin an der Stelle. Und lasst mich vor allem wissen, für wen seid ihr eigentlich? Ne? Hier im Chat muss ja auch angefeuert werden. Euer Team will euch ja auch sehen und deshalb immer gerne ein bisschen im Chat, auch, naja, nicht zu viel, aber ein bisschen rein, ist okay,
Moment.
würde ich sagen. Ein bisschen rein, ist okay. Lasst uns gerne wissen, wie ihr das Ganze seht, was ihr denkt, wer heute hier die Punkte mit nach Hause nimmt. Wie gesagt, 2 Games werden wir sehen in diesem Match.
Δεν ξέρω, θα βάζουν 3 links και ό,τι είναι τώρα.
Lysia, dann haben wir im Jungle Empress, die wir auch gerade für die Match Predictions nochmal hören durften. Apollonia auf der Midlane, Miela als ADC und Kiana als Supporter. Ich bin sehr gespannt, ob es die gleichen Matchups wie gestern sein werden. Also
Δεν τα βάζουν λίγο ξεκάθαρα, εγώ γιατί μπερδεύομαι. Δηλαδή έχει mainstream feed, clean feed, B-stream, observer feed.
uns gleich angucken, denn ich übergebe an meine wundervollen Casterin, Rixels und Miele und wir sehen uns danach wieder.
Und damit ist es soweit. Wir gehen fast schon direkt gleich rein in den ersten Draft des Tages. Und ich finde das Hopium super mit der Sona. Aber Annika, erzähl mir mal, wie realistisch ist es jetzt wirklich, dass der Sona gepickt wird? Und was willst du vielleicht eventuell ein bisschen lieber sehen als Sona?
Also ich muss sagen, ich glaube, ich kann mir sogar so ein Band vorstellen,
Oh,
wenn das
Moment.
Game es hergibt und wir wieder 2 AD Carries sehen.
Ναι, από το Universe θα το δω άμα δεν, απλά...
Jinx, Sona. Eine Sona hat im Draft noch nie geschadet, sind wir ehrlich. Und daher auf jeden Fall vielleicht sogar in der Bandkategorie. Auf der anderen Seite würde ich mir auf jeden Fall wünschen, dass wir hier wieder so ein paar von diesen Pocket-Picks sehen. Ich würde mich mal extrem freuen, wieder sowas zu sehen.
Rotze το
wie
clean
bei
feed.
von Apollonia. Ich finde, die hat eigentlich gestern schon ganz gut funktioniert. Und ich würde mir auf jeden Fall auf Seiten von der SK Botlane wünschen, dass wir...
Δεν έχουν clean feed, οπότε πάμε να δούμε τι τζαλέπι.
It basically still shows that they are trying to play the game by the book, which is really fun to see. And also with the fact that our format now for group stage, yesterday we found out the hard way that we're not playing Fearless yet, which is also really strange since we've only been playing Fearless for like half a year and we already can't think it away from competitive League of Legends. Like, it was so weird to see, oh wait, they're playing exactly the same champions as they did last game. But it does make for a point where you can play one playstyle, make it perfect, and get yourself a spot in the playoff stage. I also really like to see that is now being not necessarily promoted, but at the very least rewarded for these kind of teams.
However, that wasn't the case with most teams because they stuck to one mistake and they did it over and over again. So I think they will learn their lesson today. What do you think, Hyper Bubbles?
Yeah, I'm really hoping that on one hand they stick to
Ivan.
their main identity, but don't get
Πες τα
drawn
ακόμη το Ivan
into
στο μέτα.
these sort of bad fights. I am actually really happy with the Varus pick.
Όχι
because
πήρε,
yesterday, if I remember
είχαμε.
correctly, they actually
Α,
lost
τώρα
to
εντάξει,
the
okay,
Varus.
καλύτερα.
So maybe exactly what you said, they learned from their mistakes, and they are now going to abuse the Varus that
Τώρα
handed
έφτιαξε
them
λίγο
that
το
loss
φως.
to hopefully hand them a win this time.
I feel, however, that I haven't seen Jarvan for way too long, and I
Broken
really
in,
love
eh?
that pick. It's a great pick for isolations, for picks. Like, your ADC is not going to have a great time if your opponent has a Jarvan, so...
Τι κάνει counter του Jarvan? Gnar!
It's not necessarily like a difficult pick to pick up.
Nice.
But in general, when we're playing a meta where ADCs aren't necessarily insta-picked, there's always, of course, the fear of like, oh no, there's going to be an ADC with a dash and he will instantly escape the Cataclysm.
Okay, okay.
So it's fairly difficult to play into a champion like Jarvan. When we see the Varus being insta-locked, and the only way that Varus can maybe escape a Cataclysm is with a Thresh, which also instantly locks you into a certain playstyle. It's not something that will now be forced on WLG.
Yes,
I'd say that
Kyle.
Jarvan is still a really
Kyle.
You can combine it with so many.
I don't think Kyle is playable, uncompetitive.
I love it, and I love the Maokai as well. I'm not really sure if they're gonna go for the Maokai support, which we haven't seen for way too long as well, or they're gonna pick it for any mid lane, which is questionable as well.
I'm definitely surprised by the Akali.
Κάτσε βάλουμε και το στοράκι.
But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, especially since you mentioned the VLG already locked in the Maokai and the Gnar, so they're already quite.
Πολλά ερωτηματικά στο chat. Τι γίνεται ρε παιδιά? Τι πάθατε?
Looking to really gun down that Varus. So I am so sorry for whatever Varus is about to go through. He's definitely going to have to rely on his team to keep him safe because, yeah, as you mentioned, a Jarvan ult onto a Varus, very difficult, and when there's a Kali also able to...
Γκρέκο δεν έγραψε άρθρο σήμερα, φίλε, δεν το πάμε
I
καλά.
also wonder what Vitality is looking at right now, because in
Δεν
general,
έγραψες
when
ούτε
I
ένα άρθρο με
look at the name
απογοήτευσης.
of WLG, I see Gertrude playing on top lane, and to me that's a player that mostly plays Gnar, and since now the decision for Gnar has been made, does that mean that this is potentially an angle for Vitality Rising Bees to pick up the Ornn themselves, or do they want to pick something else into this Gnar? And how will they complete this bot lane, since in general when we see a Sivir, Sivir really likes to have an enchanter next to her, but if you're going for that Ornn...
Σήμερα έχω βάλει και ψυγεία και η Red Bull πίσω μου. Άντε γεια. Θα ανοίξω Red Bullάκι μετά πιο παγωμένο.
So there's just a lot of questions, or like where this draft's gonna go.
Ακάλι.
And with the bans that we
Τι κάνει counter Ακάλι? Μπορούμε να παίξουμε το Rihanna mid? Όχι. Κάτσε χαμηλά στον bro, μιλάει πολύ ρε.
So do you think... We did see an amazing Orianna last time, so I'm really excited to see that.
Ακάλι top.
Are we going to see another Ahri from late, or is it going to be...
Ας το Red Bull αδερφέ, δεν έχω ούτε εγώ.
Or is she going to pick the...
Μόνο κλασικά έχω.
I'm not sure. But I do like what's happening right now.
Αυτά είναι limited, δεν δίνονται έτσι απλά.
Really
Aurora! Μ' αρέσει.
So it is going to be Maokai support. At least that question is answered.
Ο Γκρέκο είναι παντού ρε. Όπου έχει Esports είναι και Γκρέκο μέσα.
Δεν γίνεται. From Vitality Rising Bees is one tanky top. I think that Jarvan won't be enough for the
Ευχαριστώ το follow Αντάμου. Και εγώ κατέμιση με να ξέρεις Mastermind, μην νομίζω ότι είναι ο Γκρέκο. Κάρμα! Μ' αρέσει το draft μας, μ' αρέσει. Γιατί δεν ξέρω τι κουκάρανε με Ακάλι, top και τέτοια. Εντάξει, δεν έχω κακό draft σίγουρα. Μόλις άπιστο στο μας. Α, καλά. Ρε φίλε, τι παίζουν όλοι ρε Λοριάννα. Είναι πολύ δυνατό σε αυτό το ύλο. Τι έγινε?
Perfect. So we're going to leave you here and leave you with our casters to enjoy the game.
very much. You guys
I
are
know,
all
από το
set.
ισπανικό.
Hi, AC, it's nice, so nice to meet you and so nice to have you here to cast along with for this first game of the day. Oh my god, I'm not
Wait, is that a thing?
Αλβανία,
I
δε,
can
καλά.
leave if you need.
Like, no, I'm only in my house.
Well, I made a producer laugh. I heard him snicker. Anyway, yeah, we're here. First time together. First time together. We're doing this. We're doing this, and we already have the first dodge of the day. So
WG in front of names so sick. I agree. I agree. WG, it sounds like something grand, something strong.
Like, we were talking about the draft speed in the backstage, listening to our amazing
Τώρα φαντάζομαι στριμάρει, ρε, είναι και με το τρίγει με Vlad. Ωραίος, ρε.
not expect the Akali flex, but really crazy. I really love to see how it's going to be that Akali. I value the guts that you have to actually use this kind of flex, which are usually quite bold. We don't get to see.
Τώρα κάτι έγινε με το lobby, το ξανακάνουμε. Ελπίζω να μην δημιουργήσαμε πάλι κανένα πρόβλημα, please. Για να δω.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Να δω ότι όλα είναι ok, σε παρακαλώ.
I thought the Akali was going mid, and I was like, okay, no, that was a blind Gnar, so that's a Gnar giving away a free counter pick for a weak side top lane. Then you see the Akali being locked, and you're like, okay, they're giving away the blind Akali as well, but no, everything came up.
Γεια σου, πρέ.
Είδα
η φάντασμα πήραν Σπούντερ. Πολύ καλή επιλογή. Πολύ δυνατή μεταγραφή από τους Team Fantasma. Πάνε πάλι κούπα. Πάλι τρέξιμο πολλά τσάνου. Εντάξει ρε τέρμι, είναι τοξικός. Δεν ξέρω, draft-wise, επειδή έχουν το Rel Oriana, άμα παίξουν ένα στο teamfight μπορούν να το γυρίσουν αυτοί ρε γάμο.
It's gonna be weird because you have a lot of back and forth, shoving on one hand, going with the all-in. On the other side, you do have the Oriana, and you need someone to throw in the ball. I don't know, how do you feel about this whole thing?
I kind of think the both seem to have some interesting stuff going on. You were talking about the karma, and it's not always about only the team fight, but also the amount of pressure that you can put into the table when it comes to the pure lane phase, and in that matter, karma is just the best. Like there is almost no other tournament that can compete with karma.
Yeah, I thought you know, okay.
Of stuff going on. Karma is also paired with the virus, so this is a crazy amount of push and pressure when it comes to the bot lane. On the other side, yeah, Vitality Rising Beast had to pull through some kind of engage, so you ended up picking the Rel, pair with the Sivir, and honestly, this is not a bot lane that is gonna be able to stand against the virus and the karma when it comes to the pure.
Όλα ok φαίνεται εμείς. Οπότε λογικά πρέπει να μπούμε κατευθείαν στο game.
Got a really powerful first pick, and then Vitality Rising Beast just contested it with some.
Ευχαριστώ το follow Demon 29. Ισχύει. Όντως. Είναι εφέ.
Yeah, you are, but that's the thing though. You have a lot of questions you need to ask.
Το έχει γίνει cybernetic το δωμάτιο.
A non-hit Varus, is that going to be a lethality Varus, you know, because those are two viable options, and lethality Varus into the Rel doesn't sound too good until you see you have a karma that can boost you up and keep you safe, you know, so you can keep your distance a little bit better. You can walk in when you have to. So there are a couple of things that you need to figure out here before you move.
Πόρε φίλε, δεν μπορώ τόσο πολύ που μιλάνε.
Choosing the Rel can keep your Sivir safe, but will she be able to farm up? Because we know the Sivir can be dangerous, but then again you're putting.
Άμα κερδίσουμε θα βάλω αυτό.
And we're talking about a team that doesn't really want to let you get to the late game. You know, we're looking at the Maokai having a lot of pressure early on as well. The Oriana does great in team fights, so I don't know how far into the late game they can get, because there's a lot of damage on the board here.
Αυτό κάτσε να έχουμε game πρώτα. Τώρα είναι πολιτεία να χάσουμε. Το γυράμε σε clubbing. Άντε ρε.
like you're going 3 items, jumping in, free delivery for the ball. You got Sivers ultimate also to abilitate the follow up of the rest of the team. But also on the other side, you have an interesting bruiser, duelist, assassin, however you want to call it, because she can do everything. To be fair, on top lane, which is another threat. So I think they're just standing.
Ευχαριστώ το follow Gus the Greek. Έχουμε προγνωστικά για σήμερα. Να μην βάλουμε ρε παιδιά ένα poll, οι moderators μας. Έχουμε 100 moderators. Να μην βάλουμε ένα bet για το κοινό μας. Hello Gus. Satan. Ευχαριστώ το follow bro. Ένα bet γενικότερα σωστό. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Maybe we could
have that. And
Vitality Rising is definitely looking to or have the composition to go the mile. You know, you have the Akali, you have the Savior, you need items, but I feel like the jungle might make a huge difference here. Jarvan's a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more dynamic when it comes to ganks. Maokai's a little bit.
Happened again.
Oh, what has production done? I was gonna take a sip of water.
Bro.
But you were saying, I'm sorry.
No,
Levi, how are you, my bro?
Just making comments around the draft. Both really creative, and we were actually tackling the jungle situation. You're discussing how the Jarvan may be more creative, more playmaker. He's more of a playmaker-ish jungler.
It's getting so boring.
This topic, I think we're gonna have the situation where if we love game to play well their cards when it comes to the early game.
Can we go to the game, please?
First set up those neutral objectives, and in that situation, Maokai is just the best. Like, how are you going to get into the river if you're not
Thank God.
It's gonna be a battle.
Thank God,
First to
επιτέλους.
the beach.
Yeah, but then again, I want to look at team fights where.
Thanks,
where
brother.
Jarvan
Thank
does
you very
have the
much.
Cataclysm, and if you look at WLG's team comp, apart from well, I mean the main
Oh, you have now
carries
screams.
have a hard
Oh.
time getting out of the
Enjoy is boring.
that's
guys.
Varus gets locked
I mean-
in. He's dead. Also, this is a lethality Varus, as it seems from Comet.
Yeah, I kind of understand why you want to go lethality virus. We were mentioning right there, like there is no quote mark real tank on the side of lethality.
Για πάμε, για πάμε.
So you're gonna be.
Έλα Ζεμπ. Καλώς ήρθες στη παρέα μας.
And you want to keep your distance when it comes not only with Jarvan and Akali, like be as far as possible from this kind of champions if you are Varus, not mobile Varus, but also trying to deal damage against an Orianna that is
Ελπίζω
gonna slow
θα
you
πετύχουμε
out
minions,
in
πώς το
the team
βλέπουμε.
fights if you are playing on hit Varus. Like if you're playing on hit Varus and you are dealing damage, Orianna is gonna be dealing damage to you. And that's not a good situation when it comes to the late game. So I think lethality Varus is the right option in here. They are gonna poke a lot. They know they gotta make the best out of this laning phase using the Varus and the Karma, and this is their best shot.
Exactly. Karma's gonna keep Mirai nice and safe in the back line. If anything goes up on onto Mirai, like the rail jumping in, you can just shield, speed up, get back, get in range again to keep on the poke. Laylee is having a bit of an issue here against Shaw.
Τρώνε πολύ damage.
As you would
γενικά.
expect, honestly. Orianna being one of Shaw's main champions here to play. She's a massive playmaker, super safe mid laner as well. Formerly from G2 Hell.
I mean, who's not safe at all is Gertrude in the top lane. Like we just saw how
Μ' αρέσει το karma η αλήθεια.
Tran her down,
Καλά
and it's
πάει.
just 2 minutes into the game, and now it's
Εντάξει,
discounting
νωρίς είναι.
his
Εδώ,
HP,
εδώ.
his HP with one.
Το καλό είναι το
with
Gnarr
one
έχει και
hand.
έψιλον για να
Julia
φύγει.
making her way on top of the map. Gertrude is well worded, so
Juicia.
yeah, there is no gag
Look at the
for
wall.
Julia in here. Gertrude had a bad time in there dealing with Akali. I know that Akali is just a pain for almost everybody, but she avoided the gang.
She did, but at the same time, this is actually curious. A
Okay,
bit weird
καλό
here
πω,
from
καλό πω κάνουμε
WGL,
στο bot.
or
Είμαστε
WLG,
okay.
mind you, where they're actually verticaling. They saw, or they noticed that Wasi was bot side vertical jungling as well. So instead of wasting time bot side trying to defend, they just take top side as well, and make sure that Gnar has a good time against the Kali. You do not want to get that champion up ahead, at least not at that stage.
Η Lil φαίνεται λίγο αγχωμένη, έχασε πολλά minions.
You might guarantee grubs here first for
Μην τα χάνουμε
WLG as
αυτά,
well.
ρε.
It could be a good solution.
And it's a tricky situation for Yushia in here in playing jungle, because at least she does have pressure in the middle lane. But look at this. Charlotte is rotating, Wazzy is rotating, Bloom is aware of this, and they need to cover this Orianna, because right now Sha is the only one with pressure in one lane. If Sha gets caught in here, the game is gonna be pretty much.
Ότι δεν περιμένω ότι ο Jarvan είναι εκεί, αποκλείεται.
Look at this. This is like war for the pressure in the mid lane. Bloom shows up in the mid lane. There goes Maokai with the Q, trying to make Yushia away. But this was all about protecting Orianna, protecting Sha, because Yushia's jungling is gonna be a hell if she does not have even pressure in the mid lane.
I mean, to be fair, VRB were actually looking for a potential pick there. They don't want to overextend. I like how they held the trigger. You didn't see Yushia jump out of the bush, EQ Wasi immediately, even though Laylee was in a very vulnerable position. She had no mana. She couldn't fight that. But Vitality Rising Bees, you know, playing their cards safe, making sure that they know what their win condition is. As keeping Orianna safe, like you said, is #1 priority. If they can get something out of it from an overextend, so be it. But they know their limitations. They know that mid game is where they're strongest, and they don't want to give anything away to WLG right now.
And now we're getting into the tricky part of the early game, because the first neutral objectives are showing up. We got an infernal Drake there in the bot lane, and we just saw WLG bot lane struggling a little bit when it came to actually crush the wave into tier 1 tower from a title rising this.
Εντάξει, ήρεμα τα πράγματα μέσα στην
because Nanris and Bloom, they
καλό είναι αυτό.
not losing much.
Τέρμα λέει νομίζω μας έχουν λόγω CV, ρε.
A little bit more than a wave of difference between Nanris and Mirai, but it's not that much of a big deal.
Αν και λέει και εμείς τα κόβουμε άπειρα.
Where they can maybe try to get the Drake.
Drake, maybe, perhaps. We'll have to see how mid actually evolves, because Laylee has a lot more mana than Shad does right now. But Shad knows what she's doing. She wants to gain this pressure so that she can move and actually defend this. I told you, they wanted to keep the top side protected, but they want to make sure that they can't get objectives for free as well.
Ok, μπορούμε να πάρουμε Dragon νομίζω, αφού ο Jarvan είναι top side.
Fortress around this dragon pit, and they're making sure that Vitality Rising Bees are getting nowhere near the first dragon.
And it's impossible to get into the river if Maokai made it first. It's like, you know, these old ladies make it to the beach like 6 a.m. in the morning, and they just go with their towels and everything. This is my spot, and you cannot steal from them. That's their spot for the rest of the summer. This is the same. For Maokai is that kind of thing. Like, you're not going to steal his part of the river. It's like he made it first. He made it there first, and you just suck it up.
Nah, you're just gonna take those objectives, but then again, you do also have the grubs spawning topside. I want to see how Wasi actually responds to that, because giving away 3 grubs, it's kind of a big deal here. You do get a little bit more push power. It could get dangerous if they allow that to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Free, at least.
Like, they both teams may be having an interesting 3 grub situation. Like, for example, WLG, they do have the NAR, which is kind of interesting if he has the capacity of split push in a better way, like the tower demolition.
Με ανησυχεί η διαφορά στα μήνες στο mid, μπορεί να αυξηθεί και άλλο, δεν ξέρω.
Of course, because we're having this interesting toppling situation, like 3-series assassination in 1-1. Gertrude, you may be in trouble. E from Chromac, loud reactivity and ability. And there it goes, Gertrude was close to the tower, but it was also dangerous for Chromac, right?
Technical pause. No, I mean, I actually felt like Gertrude was dead. If I'm looking at this right, Chromac is giving Gertrude hell. That's 37 CS to full 66. That's double farm from Chromac only 7 minutes in. We're talking about melee versus a ranged champion. Yes, it's not easy to play against the Kali. Yes, they're always under pressure, but considering that you would expect Yushia to be topside, I mean... No, never mind. I'm actually reading this right. No, Yushia being topside is actually absolutely destroying Gertrude. Wasi could be interesting to see her around the top side of the map, but the fact that the vertical is being made so perfectly by Yushia, the map is cut in half. There's no reason for Wasi to be topside. It's just wasting time. Rubs are being made right now.
What we are witnessing there at the top is kind of the consequence of that bad trade that Gertrude had earlier in the game, which was magnified by Yushia's presence in the top lane, as you were saying. And Wasi wants this, at least denies some grabs. There it goes. Flag from the side of Yushia. Wasi is getting at least 1 grab, which is some sort of victory. I think Wheel of Gaming, they got what they wanted there.
No, absolutely.
Μπράβο στη Βάση. Βάση είναι πολύ καλή. Παίζει πολύ καλά. Και χθες με το Vi, το Smurf.
Not allowing the 3 grubs to fall, but I mean, Yushia is just doing a massive game here. And we're only 9 minutes in. She cut the map in, or she was able to maintain the map cut in half. Wasi has been having to babysit bot lane, which gives a 10 CS differential over to Mirai. Top lane Chromac might be in trouble.
Όχι ρε φίλε. Έλα ρε. Πώς άτυχο. Έλα ρε μπρο. Λέιλ μην τα χάνεις αυτά please.
9 minutes in there hasn't been a first blood yet, so I feel like this is one of the most controlled games we've seen so far for EC groups. But then again, Gertrude, you have to respect the Meganar. You do gain extra stats, but now the cleanup crew's coming in, and Nenris is looking for a kill.
There goes Yushia. Yushia wanted to go in, and Gertrude is dead. Flat combo, flashing away. This is gonna be the first blood for Vitality Rising Bees. Gertrude wanted to crash the wave.
Πώς το χάσαμε κύριε, να τον μπορούσε να το πάρει.
Took a little bit more than what you could chew there, but what ended up happening was a free kill here. First blood falling over for Yushia. She deserves it from all the pressure she's been applying. And now Nenris is solo top lane, taking plates away from Gertrude's tower. This is going from bad to worse here. The lane swaps have been made, and I don't feel like right now WLG are in a position to actually accompany this swap. Look, Varus is hard pushing bot side, doesn't have TP. So if he wants to match, he has to walk all the way up to top side. Unless WLG have an actual response here, and well, it can't come in the shape of an objective because next dragon won't be up until for at least 2 minutes, I would say. Right? So you have to make a play somewhere to do something, because this part of the game where you don't have any grubs, you don't have any dragons, Herald's also ways away from spawning in. It's a bit of a slower type game, you know, and WLG are going to suffer considering that their two solo lanes are so far, yes, exactly, their two solo lanes are so far behind right now.
And that's crucial because I get to see this massive gap in the top lane when it comes to CSs, but also in the mid lane. Yes, you can argue that Mirai is ahead in terms of CSs, but the solo lanes are in a very poor state when it comes to WLG. And I kind of get the feel that Vitality and Rising Beast are getting away with their plan the way they want. Like we were arguing that WLG had a great chance at early mid game, maybe through the virus and also the karma. But that is going to be, it's not a matter at all for Vitality Rising Beast. Not even at this point of the game, and it should be. I feel like it must be a matter for
Είναι το game μπαγκαρισμένο. Κάνουμε 500 posts.
Witnessing is Vitality Rising Beast like kind of succeeding in
Ό,τι είναι.
this power, this firepower, this early game firepower that Will of Gaming composition must have had. And also, Shockwave here in the mid lane. Laylee goes invisible. She had to jump, but she never made it to the border. Shaq grabs the kill, and that's another solo kill from Magnadium some trouble. She's flashless right now. The response from Attack Rising Beast with the TP is coming through, and Jessica goes invisible because she can do so as well. Tati being in the bottom, but she has no ultimate to follow up, so maybe it's not that good of an idea. But Varus, where are you going? That's the third kill for Vitality Rising Beast in the feet of more. And now Joshua, yes, she's going forward because she wants more blood. But Rel doesn't make it. The W from the Maokai is not gonna make her under the tower. Maokai ends up dying, and this is the paradise for Vitality.
Αυτό που κάνουμε τώρα δεν βγάζει κανένα νόημα, ρε. Κάναμε ό,τι πιο κουλό υπάρχει στο game, legit. Flash τα κρατάμε για άλλο game. Όπου να είναι μπαίνουμε.
Had to die right in front of Shaw there with after the shockwave being deployed, but bot lane is where we saw the weirdest thing happened. Mirai just stepping in, had no vision in the lane, wanted to step up to get the last arrow in, ended up getting caught and losing the fight. WLG just shy of the dragon spawning in as well. Means they have to go for reset and allow Vitality to take the second dragon.
Yeah, because the thing for WLG is going to be the first one. And a bit difficult to get the rest because the gap in the top lane and in the mid lane is
Σαν να έχουμε μπει καν στο game είναι, ρε.
And I kind of appreciate
Είμαστε 50 CS πίσω κάθε lane.
Oh my gosh, she's playing so aggressively. A perfect execution. She goes invisible.
Just ρε, please.
And almost got burned. Akali, you don't go invisible on their towers anymore with your W. But yet that was almost another solo kill. Okay,
well, it's not done yet. Wasi wants to... Yeah, Wasi wants to make something happen, but she's busy with the Krugs. There's no wave either. Gertrude's a little bit slow on the push.
You need to make a decision, Kramak. You go forward, you go backwards. Death is in front of you, and Death is behind you. It's difficult. Here it goes. Maokai's ultimate. You got invisible. Oh my god, with the stone.
Πώς και πήραμε kills.
So unpolite, but Gertrude grabs the kill.
Πάλι καλά. Λέω θα γίνει καμιά τρολιά. Αφού τα έχουμε λούσει όλα, ρε, όλα. Δεν μπορώ να καταλάβω. Στο μήνυμα δεν κάνουμε flash να μην πεθάνει από την Οριάννα. Στον bot ο Βάρος πήγε μόνο στο ευθεία.
Compared to Chromac. Chromac, however, I feel like she's going to have a massive impact when she starts joining in team fights. Thing is, she needs someone to check her up every single time she's solo. She can't be alone in a lane, or else you lose sight of her, and then she becomes a massive problem if she starts to the site to gank other lanes. Shaw, in the meantime, absolutely crushing Laylee in the mid lane. Nowhere to go. 2 kills up. 40 CS at this point.
So it's down to bot lane.
Not allowing Nenris and Bloom to actually scale, and that is a massive, a titanic feat here for WLG.
Oh,
Jesus Christ, Shaw!
Flash!
Shaw wants the kill, but you're tanking tower. Like, Vitality Rising Beast always they are playing like a really bold League of Legends, to put it mildly. Somehow like trying to go for the solo kill all the time. Not only Cormac, but also we just saw Shaw trying to get Laylee again. She goes for the plan, she just heals up a little bit, so Aurora is still alive and kicking or something.
Εγώ πάντως δεν χρόνο flash, ενημερώνω.
But yet so behind, and this is a massive problem for WLG because Aurora is good at killing people, obliterating people. She does that really, really well, but Aurora does not have the capacity of doing so in this moment of the game, and I don't think if Aurora is gonna have the capacity of doing so at any moment of the game. They had an explosive composition, but is not working. Like Vitality Rising is neutralized the ability of the enemy's composition to do so, and they are buying time for Orianna and for Silver.
Exactly. The thing is, Orianna has no right being this far ahead this early on. This is just silly. Yeah. There's full Sork boots and a full Ludens in the inventory of Sha, while Laylee just completed her first item. And I think she just got boots as well. I don't think she had boots in her inventory. So there's a big
Δηλαδή, άμα δεν κάνουμε τα δύο deaths στο mid, μια χαρά θα
ήμασταν τώρα. The solo Q style where she doesn't even care where the enemy jungler is. She just trusts Yushia so much to keep her lane safe that she can just push forward. No questions asked. She knows that if anything happens, the team will collapse. And Nature's Grasp trying something here for WLG.
I'm bringing the audio effects by bringing my cat that now has skin to me up to the microphone.
Get it in.
The Nature's Grasp. I think it was a pretty earlier.
Τώρα τι το παίζουμε, χωρίς Ρωμαοκάι.
WLG side because right now is the moment when the Herald is
spawning. Το νόημα. Θα μας κάνουν commit και θα πεθάνουμε όλοι εδώ. Πεθαίνουμε όλοι εδώ.
This neutral objective, Lily is there, Shy is trying to flank, but this is Orianna flanking. This is not a situation that the Blanket is coming through, and Maokai is the one grabbing the Herald. Bloom going for the engage, and that's the first kill. Gertrude is been taken down, and Wasi, you've been forgotten, you've been left behind. That's another kill for Vitality Rising.
Δηλαδή παίζουμε τα flash όπου να είναι. Ας πούμε τώρα το flash εδώ, τι το έπαιξε, αφού θα πέθανε έτσι αλλιώς. Δεν το παίξαμε πριν και το έπαιξε τώρα. Έξω μου φαίνεται πολύ χάζο. Εδώ μοιράει πεθαίνει, εντάξει. Εντάξει, είναι και κάρμα. Αυτό δεν μου φαίνεται χάζο. Εφόσον δεν είσαι ulti Maokai, δεν το παίζει καν objective. Έκας τρελεπίκας όλο εκεί. Με αυτά που κάνουμε. Πολύ ό,τι να είναι, πράγμα. Καμία σχέση με χθες. Χθες παίζαμε πολύ ωραία το παιχνίδι και τώρα κάνουμε απλά χαζομάρες να περάσει η ώρα.
You just know you can't risk getting shockwaved into Cataclysm like that just happened. You know, it's just a massive risk. WLG are not finding their pace. They're not finding their rhythm. Yes. They're mostly responding to what Vitality are doing, and it's not really working out for them. They lost the pace, and you can't really lose the pace when they're playing a team comp that needs this early game pressure, that needs to be ahead when you come to mid game.
And you know, this is something that our analyst Dex was discussing. I remember them highlighting how Will of Gaming, they don't have like the classic hard engage in their composition. They are not like Arel, Nautilus, as Sion or the likes. So they rely on Maokai, they rely on maybe even Varus or Gertrude going Mega Nart to force the engage. Like
what are we doing?
This one that we are witnessing.
Τι κάνουμε ρε. Μπρο, θα με τρελάνουν σήμερα. Τι βλέπουν τα μάτια μου. Και τώρα θα παίξουμε και fight χωρίς Ρωμαοκάι.
What is Wasi doing?
What is Wasi doing? That's probably is dying because right now they do have the Vitality Rising Beast, they do have that amazing engage, and that's Chromac diving deep into the fight, looking for Laylee, flashing, not the fight is just waiting what is happening, AC.
Everything is happening. Gertrude is in the middle of a fight with other people. Mirai jumps in to try to get something done, but the team fight is so scattered around.
Θα τα σπάσω όλα, ρε.
Picking up the pieces.
Απίστευτο, τι κάνουμε.
As Wasi took a fight a little bit too deep. Yushia coming in. They find the kill on Charlotte, and Mirai is the last one standing to actually seal the ace for Vitality Rising Beast.
Bro, τι κάνουμε.
It's a fake ace because Wasi just spawned it. It's not even 20 minutes into the game, but virtually it was an ace. Those were 5 kills for Vitality Rising Beast, and they were playing with fire. They almost got burned, but nobody died in there. That's a champ drag for Vitality Rising Beast, and they are just dominating the game. That's almost, am I reading it right? This is almost 10k gold if before 20 minutes in the game.
No, for sure. I mean, that's very reasonable considering what we saw. This early on, the fact that Yushia cut the lane in half and was able to maintain it, and Wasi never had a chance to regain control of her own jungle. With or without the team's help, it just caused a massive gap in the mid and the top lane. Because Yushia was just taking top side map, and you know for a fact that Wasi couldn't do anything. So Chromac and Shaw, all they had to do was push topside or be around topside of the river.
Άμα παίξουμε έτσι.
And Yamcha could be threatening a gank
Καμία σχέση με χθες
at any
μάτς.
given time.
Άλλο πρόσωπο
Not
τελείως.
allowing
Και
either girls to actually do anything about their
άμα
lane.
παίζαμε προσθέσεις πραγματικά μπορούσαμε να κερδίσουμε.
Cali's just so volatile at the end of the day. Now you have the Baron closing in, or not closing in. We're still 19 minutes in, but the game already feels so deep.
Cali, like, Chromac is so confident she's going into Mega Gnar, of course, and she got kind of changed now.
Oh, jeez.
Just with the Cataclysm looking for the engage, but Bloom is there like, it's not enough with Java. It's okay, I'm going in, and suddenly more kitties going in there, Meow and Wasi. It's not okay for you. That's a double kill. It feels like late game for Nenres. It feels like late game for a Sivir. Watching her grabbing the triple kill, 3-0 on 4 for the Sivir, and she's not even in 2 items yet.
What are you talking about? We're 19 minutes in at 184 CS. I'd say that's pretty damn reasonable. That's a 3 kill, almost 200 CS at 20-minute mark Sivir. That's pretty late game if you ask me, considering the current game state. WLG have to find a ladder to climb that high where Sivir's standing right now. Because VRB, they're even ahead on the objectives. Look, Atacon's just spawned in, they're already doing it.
Yeah, they're already doing it. I mean, they have the ability to do so. They have the hyper carry. The Sivir is gonna chunk the Atacon down so fast, and it's gonna be a free one. Because how in the world is WLG gonna make it to the river safe and sound? It's impossible for them. So that's a free Atacon for Vitality Rising Beast. But okay, let's talk about this. Vitality Rising Beast are being clearly victim of the Turbo Fed team syndrome. They are playing like. They got this down to the solo queue mode, like going for plays that usually you don't want to look for, and I've seen it plenty of times. Teams going punished because they were overconfident after getting this
χωρίς λόγο.
And
Το παίξαμε άθλια το game. Άθλια, χωρίς λόγο τελείως. Χαζά λάθη.
Still, death timers are not that long, so you're not gonna be able to push fast enough to close the game. So this is at least going to be 5 more minutes, and if Vitality Rising Beast keep trying to go for those bold moves, which lately, I don't know, okay, you're not Mega Hard, you're gonna die. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, apology accepted. No, for real, this is perfectly fine. Now, another kill moving into the top side. Flag and drag, there it is.
There it is, and it's gonna be.
I'll see you in 30 seconds when you respawn from that. I mean, this is just a steamroll from Vitality Rising Beast, and Desk had questions about whether or not their tie yesterday was a fluke or just unlucky or just nervousness from being the first game. I'd say VRB do have what it takes to actually be one of the teams at the top, you know, because they have the consistency.
Να δεν τελειώσει το game αυτό, μπας και κάνει πρώτο το άλλο.
It's absolutely destroying WLG here.
And look at that, trying to defend with the ultimate, but Nenry tanked it with the shield and ended up grabbing the kill with the Q. That's crazy. 117, just one kill was WLG able to grab in the entire game. Like, if this was 1 year ago, probably this game would be over because Baron Nashor is spawning at 20 and everything. Now it's on at 25. And of course, not that easy to end fast at the games. But yeah, I'm expecting a quick Baron Nashor and goodbye from Vitality Rising Beast.
Listen, you're already late gaming on Sivir. You can't make it any faster than this, I think. Like, you're speed running this game as fast as you can. I don't know what VRB's schedule looks like, but they clearly have things to do. We're 22 minutes in. They're pushing straight into the jungle. They want that tier 2 bot. They're doing it by the book. But if they want to do it by the book, they need to have
3 team fights σε Arena πάρουμε δεν γίνεται ποτέ.
I mean, their rotations are insane right now. Wasi's alone defending mid. Nobody is actually trying to take this. Nobody's trying to take this fight. They can. WLG can take this fight. So everything belongs to VRB, and WLG are just stuck to their own base right now. Gertrude trying to collect a bounty, and it does put gold in her pockets. But at what cost?
Ξεφτύλα γίναμε ρε φίλε και παίξαμε χάλια. Δηλαδή χαζά παιδικά λάθη κάναμε. Ούτε Silver δεν τα κάνουν αυτά τα λάθη. Πολύ κρίμα ρε, χθες παίξαμε ωραίο λόγο ρε φίλε.
But of course you're gonna sacrifice something. You're gonna sacrifice something. There goes Jusha, forcing Charlotte's flash, and that's not how the WLG were able to grab. I had to praise these teams relentlessly trying to thrive into a game that seems so doomed. They come with creative ideas, but then they are maybe facing the consequences. They grab 3 towers in the last minute, and maybe this means that the Titan Rising Beasts are going to grab at least a couple of kills. Gertrude is going to be able to escape with the TP. And
Wazzy's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, that's
This was so... okay, this was very unnecessary. I feel like VRB just panicked at this play right now. WLG got
Ναι, εντάξει, ισχύει αυτό που λες, αλλά τώρα...
tried to match it because they thought, okay, they're just going to push one tower and that's going to be it. No, Gertrude didn't even care. She just full zoomed, mute all, and wait straight for the second tower. Got the second tower. In the meantime, while VRB were trying to rotate, they lost the mid tower as well. Κάναμε
παιδικά λάθη, παιδικά λάθη κάναμε, πραγματικά.
All that VRB had to do was just finish bursting the tier 2 bot lane, go for dragon, reassign lanes, and you're still ahead. WLG got a lot of gold back in their pockets, but it's still a massive mountain to climb to come to the level that VRB are at.
Yeah, it's a massive mountain. That's an understatement, if you ask me.
Αν το κερδίσουμε αυτό το game, κάνω giveaway 500
Like
ευρώ.
you're trying to climb Everest with, I don't know, a pair of gloves and that's it. And in a swimsuit, it's that difficult right now for WLG. And now there it goes, the Baron Nashor appears. It's 25 minutes in the game, and Vitality Rising Beast, like if they can secure this neutral objective, it should be done. They have the gold, they have the resources.
Don't jinx them.
Weaver is unreachable for WLG.
Don't jinx them. It's never over until the Nexus explodes.
It's impossible
to
use it if the enemy team is not there to steal anything.
You're doing it!
No, it's impossible. It's impossible. They don't engage. Oh my god, they disappeared!
Okay.
They got obliterated! 3 kills in the blink of an eye, and there it goes the Maokai. Oh my god.
Right, that's game.
I wasn't aware that you could
Please,
drop, like, those many kills that fast. Okay, we weren't even able to play that.
That was a Sivir Q into the Shockwave, catching 3 people in the Cataclysm and absolutely annihilating the front line of WLG. That's how fast VRB want to pace this game, and that's how high they want to set the
Αλήθεια, άμα βάλω replay να δούμε το match με αυτά τα χαζολάθη που κάναμε, δεν βγάζαν καν νόημα ρε φίλε, καν νόημα, δώσαμε προβάδισμα χωρίς λόγο ρε. Τι replay ούτε καν. Δεν θέλω τσοκό, δεν θέλω τσοκό. Μη σας ακούω καν. Εδώ που είναι. Ρε πάντα οι άλλοι παίρνουν Ρελ, Οριάννα και μας κάνουν ένα κόμπο γιατί εμείς που πουτάμε. Μ' αρρώστησαν. Ρε τι γίνεται ρε, ελπίζω στο δεύτερο γύρο να παίξουμε το παιχνίδι normal και ας χάσουμε. Όπως θες μπορούμε να παίξουμε normal το παιχνίδι. Να ευχαριστούμε το μάτι τουλάχιστον, δεν πειράζει να χάνεις, αλλά όχι να κάνεις παιδικά λάθη. Γιατί αυτά που κάναμε δεν τα λες καν, ξέρω, team diff, ήτανε... Δώσαμε giveaway στην αντίπαλη ομάδα. Βαρύ. Άμεσα με τον Ike Level. Δεν μπορώ τσόκο να μιλάνε ρε, μου έχουν κουράσει. Δεν ήταν και εδώ, μια χαρά ήταν draft ρε. Απλά δεν παίξαμε καν, ήμασταν 50 CS πίσω, mid top. Δώσαμε free kills, jungle AD mid. Είμαστε και λίγο άτυχοι στο top, δεν πήραμε το first blood εκεί με την Ακάλη. It's fine, it's fine. Το καλύτερο draft να είχαμε του πλανήτη δεν κερδίζαμε έτσι πως παίζαμε. Ωραία. Λογικά το δεύτερο ξεκίνησε μπαμ, δεν νομίζω να αργήσει. Κάτσε εδώ. Κάνα δεκάλεπτο. Πάλι μπάγκα έχουμε, ρετροκίζομαι. Δεν ξέρω. Μισό ψέματα δεν γνώριζα. Εδώ με δείτε τις high definition. Να δω και το 1-0. Εντάξει, και οι Βαρόσα χάσανε τους Nexus Reapers θες. Ακραίο. Κάτσε να προστάρουμε λίγο. Γι' αυτό δεν παίρνει προσθέσεις. Πώς το όχι γάμο. Κάτσε να προστάρουμε λίγο το άρθρο. Πού είναι το live το έχασα. Τώρα στο τσιλάρουμε. Πού είναι αυτό. Θα πρέπει να ξεκινήσουμε το draft. Λοιπόν, κάτσε να βάλω κι εγώ ένα break τότε να ξεκινήσουμε. Αφήνω μουσικούλα και επανέρχομαι.
true. All of them played really well. I do still personally have to give it to the Jarvan just because I think jungles always have such a big impact, and you can just really just see it all over the map. Just that safety that every laner had the trust that, hey, we have our jungler to rely on. We can push up here. We can zone the enemy laner off the wave and not be worried about being ganked in return. So that's where my vote would go.
I would personally like completely agree with you to like a certain point that in these kind of games that you're basically rolling over your opponents, there is so much potential for junglers or support to just basically become the maestro of an orchestra in the way that you're basically dedicating or like dictating where the where the game is going, where the plays are happening, and when you're so far ahead, there's not really any form of pushback that's easily doable against such bruisers who can make such strong engages and also give some lockdown for potential follow-up in the end for the team fights to happen. So I would also give it to the Jarvan, but I'm also wondering like how will WLG now answer this in a setting where I think a lot of teams are now so used to Fearless that normally you wouldn't have to worry about something like a Jarvan anymore. But now that you have lost the first game and you probably get side selection, there is still the possibility for yourself to rinse and repeat, still pick the Varus, but then are you still afraid that like the same thing will happen as last draft, that there's a Jarvan coming out? Do you now have to ban the Jarvan, or are you interested more in seeing like maybe Vitality Rising, B Rising will take a different approach themselves, and then you don't really have to worry about it anymore? I think that's like the fundamental game that can happen again that you didn't have to think about anymore with like a Fearless format.
But what we are seeing for the moment being is that they're
Ξεκινάμε,
not afraid
πάμε.
from the past picks. They're just going to ban their OTPs, just to say, or their comfort picks. I do like, however, the Vine
Okay,
pick because we didn't
Vi.
see the Maokai, even
Για
though
να
it was
δούμε.
good. As a thought, it was a good thought. You would have the chance to disengage more. I would have liked it more as a tank, however, not as much as an AP. I think that was a miscalculation there.
Red
You know, like when you were when we were going over the WLG draft last time, I felt like it could of course work out, but there were like very limited possibilities to look for fights yourselves when your main engages are the Maokai that isn't necessarily that tanky in the early stages because you are basically forced to build Leandris from what I've seen from most players, and your other engage is Gnar, which is fairly straightforward, as in people can see it coming. Like you do see the rage bar underneath Gnar, and like teams that pay especially attention to that will be like, okay, he's now full rage, we don't have to fight, we just wait it out and then take a fight after, which is just really difficult to actually force a fight with that. Now with the Vi, it is way more easy to just press the go button, you are basically building bruiser items from the beginning, so there's just a lot more survivability, and I think it just will help the calls in the later stages just way better. So I'm really happy to see this kind of a change already made in like the first stage of draft.
Νομίζω τώρα το πάνε ευθείες.
I do like, however, the Syndra that the Vitality Rising Bees already have picked. It is a strong control mage. I have seen it a lot, however. So I don't know how I exactly feel about it. What do you feel about the Syndra pick, Hyper Bubbles?
Yeah, I think Syndra is one of those picks where even if she personally isn't like completely stupid and mega broken herself, the amount of setup she provides just makes her so strong, because let's say she lands a stun and then Leona lands a follow-up stun and then Jinx lands her traps and then they're dead, and then Jinx has her reset and then she's zooming all over the place. So I think they have really good team fight setup right now on the side of Vitality, and if they keep going with that, I have because on the side of WLG they first picked
Νομίζω πολύ πιο δυνατή η Vitality.
So no matter what, they won't have that super strong.
Άρα Elban, Nautilus Ban, τι θα παίξουμε?
It's still rather interesting, right? Because we do see a 5 first pick. Normally when we see a championized pick like this being first picked, there's like a Zaya answer on the other side because it's easier to peel yourself off the Vi ult. Now we see a Jinx as a response. We don't really see any form of peel from the Vi. That's still fairly uncommon, and I wonder like how that will plan out in the later stages, because normally I would expect here like a Vi is being first picked, I see a Zaya and then a jungle answer.
Τώρα λόγω support δεν συμφέρει καν,
we have
δηλαδή λέω
our own
να
plan.
θα
We have
πατσοκόψει.
our own way that we want to play this game. And whether that pans out in the right direction or not, that's for later. But now they have still managed to get themselves a potential counterpick for jungle. They pick up the Xin Zhao, but I do wonder whether they would have changed anything if you would have picked up the Xin Zhao earlier, and then maybe you could have waited with some other picks later for
I do find the Pyke pick, it is, however, still a hover, but I do find it quite peculiar because if I were them and I saw so much stun on the Vitality Rising, thank God, I would I would have gotten with something else, okay? I thank God for the last Chains of Mind, for the last Chains of Mind. Rakan, however, is not one of my favorites. I would have gotten with something like Emilio, since you do have a Syndra, you do have a Leona, the Xin Zhao so-and-so, but we are going with a Volibear, so Emilio would be a really interesting pick. No.
Oh, τι πόπι ρε.
We are getting bamboozled, yeah.
Anything can change. Now it's locked in. Now we know for sure who it's gonna be.
Perfect. I feel like I haven't seen Poppy in a while. I do love this champion. I have loved seeing it on support. I am kind of missing it there. However, I still strongly have a good feeling about it. How do you feel about the two drafts, however?
Τίποτα ρε, αντίπαλοι είναι οι fakers. Παίζουν τα πάντα, το ορκίζομαι ρε.
To me, like in,
ούτε στο main team στο LoL δεν παίζουμε τόσα picks. Όσα παίζουν.
I really like how this game is more going neck and neck. I felt like Vitality B Rising picked a lot of their own priority picks, which also made like an opportunity for WLG to utilize a lot of counter picks.
Εντάξει, πέρα από το draft είναι και πώς θα τα πατήσεις, γιατί τώρα σε αυτή τη φάση στο προηγούμενο match και το καλύτερο draft να είχαμε θα χάναμε.
If I had to throw a prediction
και εσύ πες τα πάντα
I would
εντάξει,
give it to the bees.
Σχεδόν.
Potentially win this game.
I love how he comes up with the props. How about you, Hyper Bubbles?
Yeah, I agree. I have
Παίζω καλό jungle.
these as well. I don't have a cool sticker, unfortunately, but you know, I'm still in the same team.
Καλά κάπα, δεν παίζω καλό jungle.
Yeah, I think they just have a really coherent comp. They know what they want to do, and if they keep playing like exactly the way they did last game, then I just heavily favor the bees as well.
Wonderful. So what I can see that the Vitality bees, I am pro them, to be honest. They are going for the wombo combos, they're going for the infinite stance, and I do love that. However, what I see from the WL Gaming is the Lux on mid lane, which I'm feeling quite kind of meh about. Because with the Lux, you can either go 0-10 or 10-0. There's no in between. I think she's missing things from her kit just to be as useful as you want it to be. Yeah. That's all my thoughts pretty much. So, do you give it to Vitality Bees? All in all, we're going to give it to Vitality Bees and we're gonna pass to the casters.
Thank you very much, guys. What another bunch of non-believers.
Το Lux είναι πιο χαλαρό pick, εντάξει.
In this Lux and in the ability of the Lux in order to thrive in the game. Just because, I mean, in Superliga, AC, we have this. We have this guy. I'm gonna do a little bit of Superliga proselytism in here, if I'm allowed.
Dump me lore.
Because Shark person is not watching right now. Right now, is not paying attention. So. In Superliga, we do have this mid laner. His name is Macaquinho. He's crazy. And he used to be a 2-trick champion. He used to play Katarina. He used to play Lux. Yeah, night and day champion. But I've seen him doing things with this champion, with the Lux. That
να παίξουν πιο κόκκι τώρα οι Vitality.
Make me a believer on the capacity of Lux, of solo carrying the game. So let's see. I'm gonna pay a lot of attention onto the mid lane.
Listen, you want to know the funniest thing about WLG's comp? Lux is literally the only champion in this composition that doesn't immediately die to Chromac. Like everything else, you want to go into a team fight, Gertrude tries to headbutt you. Nah, Chromac's there, man. Wasi wants to fully all in. Nah, man, Chromac's there. You want to ult Mirai into the back line or even fully engage with a Rakan? Nah, man.
Τώρα είναι πολύ main pick της Laura. Και είναι καλό pick.
Chromac is a
δεν μπορούμε να το παίξουμε Rakan.
In this puzzle, and WLG are going to have to crack if they want to do anything. But we have a gank in the mid lane.
Yeah, it goes in the knockout. Okay, Laylee, you're in trouble. That's the first one. Jushi's still living in the previous game. No, I'm sorry, Lately. This was
Well,
a clear Castle Jinx moment, and I apologize for that.
New game, new life. I
Πες τι
think,
κάνω, τι
and
κάμερα,
Laylee
sorry.
is already getting flashbacks from all of that. First time getting in the mid lane, Flash is gone, TP is gone, 2 CS in the pocket, nothing to come back with this early on in the game. Well, I'll tell you what, Yushia played
Εντάξει,
that
τώρα δεν
like
ήταν
a
mid
Philip.
γκάβρε
Do you want to
τέρμι,
know
αφού η
where
τζούγκλα
Yushia
πήγε.
even started? Because that was a Raptor start for Yushia. He went Raptor straight to mid.
Αλλά η Σα είναι πολύ καλή και η Yushi είναι πολύ καλή που
Enemy
έχουν
Raptors
Veteran.
into mid game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Relentless, if you ask me. Because right now, yeah, Yushia got the Raptors, ganked mid, grabbed the kill for herself. Now she's doing her Raptors, her red, popping towards the bot lane, and now Wasi is one less camp to do. So it's not gonna be great for a Vi that's trying to look for a gank. I think she's on the bottom lane, she's level 3, she maybe lands into something as Neris and Bloom are a little bit ahead.
Okay.
They issue law with the engage as
Μπορώ να
well
πάρω
with the
flash,
flash, but Bloom and Neris are too close to the tower to be killed.
Oh, that's such a waste of time. You got one flash out of that. You got a flash of Nenris, that's fine. But walking in from behind when you're that squishy, you're
πιστεύω μπορούμε να το
forcing
κερδίσουμε
suckers
αυτό το
out of
game.
the team as well just to keep you alive. That was an overall not great trade for Wasi. Because Leona was full HP. Leona's the biggest problem there. Leona can just queue and stop you right where you stand. Tank stuff for Nenris at level 3 right now. I mean, yeah, bit of a weird decision there, giving away information to Vitality to where exactly the enemy jungler is. WLG a little bit in back foot already, and we're just 3 minutes in. Chromac!
Δεν έχει MP.
Yeah, the tower's
is always
blight.
playing with fire.
Yeah,
Kerma
yeah,
is playing the bubble like it is a Kali, and I really appreciate it. Like I respect it like a lot. But yeah, she tanked a little bit, but getting by the composition around the Poppy, I really loved it. I mean, the Poppy last pick was that good. R5, the ones that you get to appreciate because of what you were mentioning, because how much it denies the enemy composition, just not Lux, which lacks any kind of mobility, But on the other side, I mean, well, she's been killed once now. So.
No,
Κάτι μπορούμε
but
να
let's
I
be
don't think it's gonna be
realistic.
much of a problem.
Let's be realistic here. What is
Ναι, η διαφορά δεν είναι
WLG's,
μεγάλη, όντως.
idea for team fights? You look at the Vi, you look at the Ornn, you look at the Rakan, they want to dash into you. They want to ult in you as fast as they can. It's a very explosive fight, right? And we're talking about Poppy a lot, and Poppy is a major role, is going to play a major role in the team fights, obviously, but she's not gonna always be there. You have to look at Yushia, which is another. Yeah, no, for sure. They're meeting in the Raptors. I think Yushia might have taken some of them. But Yushia is also a massive deterrent to all-ins. Because she can ult, if she hasn't attacked anyone, she can ult and everybody
Μια χαρά
backs
παίζει
off
μωρέ, καλή είναι η
immediately.
Λέιλα, απλά
So that's also
χώνεται
a
πάρα
major
πολύ εύκολα.
anti-all-in tool from VRB. And then they just have to keep Syndra and Jinx nice and healthy as they hop into the later stages of the game. You know, Jinx another hyper carry. She needs to farm. She needs to get items under her belt. Shaw, however, is a different story.
Yeah,
Because Shaw's playing Syndra. It's a little bit more stat checky. Not stat checky, but you know, press R, kill something, and you're almost guaranteed to kill at least Laylee. Take her out of the fight.
Yes, absolutely. And the moment she stacks up the passive is going to be even worse. And they're going to be just it's going to be Mira is going to be Charlotte, like everybody besides you, or more or less. But you know, I think I kind of having a deja vu in here because I think we already had this conversation.
Φάει καμιά ult εκεί, λέει και πεθάνει.
Nenris needs to farm up. This late game AD carry. Just before we were talking about the Savior, now we're talking about the game.
Listen, we need to consider everything, okay? And on paper, it's exactly as we spoke of.
Oh?
Call the Forge God.
Ah.
Goodbye.
Bye, nerd.
I really love the way Poppy deals with problems. Like you're annoying me. Go
toss him away.
It's absolutely crazy. And now we're watching VRB grabbing the first rake of the game, and oh my god, AC, it's happening again. And now even with the first rake, like this is all deja vu.
The thing is, WLG did take the first dragon last time because Yushia was doing the opposite. She was trying to force a vertical jungle topside, and she was actually successful. This time around, I feel like Wasi is a little bit on the path here.
Καλό.
Making sure that Yushia
Όχι ρε, πρώτα δεν έπρεπε να το πετάξει το Cage.
she's fine.
I mean, she was greedy, but she got out
was.
dashing to the
Μπρες,
crab.
μπρες. Το έχουμε.
I mean, it was greedy. It was
Λοιπόν,
really
θετικά
greedy from
vibes.
his side.
Πάμε
And
για το
there's
1-1.
nothing debates more a jungler into a problem, into trouble than the Raptors camp. Like,
Absolutely.
how many times we've seen junglers
Πρέπει να παίξουμε ωραίο LOL. Δεν
die
μας νοιάζει να κερδίσουμε ή
over
χάσουμε,
Raptors.
αλλά πρέπει να
Over
παίξουμε
Raptors
όμορφο
and
LOL.
over
Αυτό
the
θέλω.
crab. Like, those are the two Achilles
over the crab,
heels
you're right. Yeah, over the crab. That's
for
insane.
junglers.
I know, right? I used to be a main jungler, but then I died too many times to the crab. So I was like, nah, man, that's okay. I'm done with that. No, I don't want to jungle no more. But what we do have here is actually WLG responding accordingly to the attempted vertical. Yushia is trying to do the same thing, cut the map in half, but this time she's trying to take the bot side of the map. Not happening. Now this is a super mega death rocket to delay the recall.
Yes.
So that WLG are behind in the rotation. Gertrude now has to stay. The grubs have spawned. VRB have numerical advantage for this objective. Everything is going so smooth for Vitality Rising Bees right now.
I really love Haneris use the ultimate just to deny that recall that you were mentioning just right now, because yes, that is. I mean, the outcome of this play should be Vitality Rising Bees being able to grab the grubs. Yeah, no pun intended in here. But let's see how it goes, because we're having Wazzy, we're having Mirai, lately looking for it, but not much. And Yushia right now has a problem, and that's that she's flashless. The ultimate is interesting.
Πάμε.
There it goes.
Μπράβο, καλό,
Mirai is the
καλό.
one grabbing the kill. Not
Μπράβο,
from
μπράβο,
Shalom,
μπράβο.
and the outcome was that Yushia was greedy a few minutes before. She had no flash, and now she's dead.
The idea was good.
Τι κάνει,
They
τι
needed
κάνει,
that
what?
fight to go for grubs, but the thing is, whoa, what's going on?
Μπρο.
What is going on? The Naris is grabbing a kill, and now there goes the resets from
Έλα ρε
Naris.
φίλε, τι κάνει ρε.
For a jungler, and there are still the grabs to be
Πώς
taken.
μπήκε έτσι εκεί?
Alright, so VRB, I wanted to give credit over to WLG for reading the situation, right? VRB were waiting for the grubs.
Τη ματιάσαμε
Their
ρε την
bot lane,
κοπέλα
in
από
this case,
χθες.
Naris and Bloom, they were waiting for the call, but they were farming the wave. So VRB, they wanted to fight mid, but they didn't give the call over to their bot lane, which that's what it resulted in 4v2 in the mid.
Είπαμε τα καλύτερα χθες
But
και
as soon as they
σήμερα.
reacted, VRB managed to
Αμάν.
Get out of there!
Get out of there, because Poppy may kill you. Flash.
Μπράβο. Πάλι καλά του τρέχει η Poppy.
And Chromac again playing the Poppy like he fits a Kali,
Bro.
grabbing the shield. Chromac wants the kill, and there it goes Poppy with pointails floating in the wind. But Wasi ends up
Τι
grabbing
βλέπω
the
τα
kill.
ματάκια
That's
μου.
1-1-1 for WLG's LG's jungler, Douglas Chromac.
Δεν
Let's
ξέρω.
put it this way: she was overstepping.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my solo queue brain
Αυτό
because
ήταν full
I know exactly
υποτίμηση.
what happened, and I know exactly how Chromac must feel. That was an attempted flash into E into Q to just
Πάμε για ένα
absolutely
play.
demolish him with a combo, but the Q came before the flash and the E was not in range. So
Yeah.
it turned out to be the play that you just saw, because then she panicked when she saw Wasi. Chromac is in the lead. She's 20 CS ahead. She had every right killing
Again.
Gertrude there, but miscalculation on the timings, man. That's what it was. That's all it was.
Maths were done, not correctly, but maths were done. I mean, if she got into E range, that would be a kill for sure.
Yeah.
Even
No,
if-
everything went according to her
in the end-
calculations. She's just
Yeah. No, it's just because League of Legends is bad design. That's the thing. It should be good. But the fact is that, I mean, Chromac was super aggressive in there. Even if she ended up being in E range, she would have ended up dying just because Wasi was there. So yeah, it happens that Gertrude had some friends to cover her, but the situation was what it was just because of Nenry's amazing rocket. Let's not forget about that, because it was Nenry's good eye to go for that rocket. And now Wasi going on to Chromac. Chromac had no flash. There goes Ami. That hammer was not good.
Καλό.
That's the third kill for WLG. This is the team grabbing the third kill in the field of war for Nenris, maybe in some sort of trouble.
Σημαντικό kill εδώ.
Covering here in the mid lane, but we're watching Vitality Rising Bees. In the same moment, all this bloodshed was being spilled on the top side. They were grabbing the Drake in the influx.
They were. They're responding accordingly. It's just that Chromac feels like she's playing a little bit more tilted than usual, I would say.
Καλό στον Gold the
That last
Series.
fight, I mean, Chromac did what she could. The Poppycopter was decent, but Gertrude played her little heart out. As soon as she pressed W, as soon as she presses W with Orange, she becomes immune to CC, and that's what happened. You see the Poppycopter come out, and she wanted to go for Gertrude, but Gertrude was like, nah, you're not going. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna Bellows Breath my way back into the lane, finishing the kill there, and allowing Mirai to actually secure the kill for herself. And this is WLG slowly but surely starting to gather resources, but Rising Bees are still ahead in gold.
I mean, not that much compared this into the if we compare it with the previous game, but even though they are a little bit ahead in gold, we have to keep in mind that they do have 2 Drakes in a row. It's gonna be a mountain, so both teams this time they both have some tanks in there. If it's not Poppy, it's gonna be their own. So whatever team is ended up sacking those mountain Drakes, are gonna be of great value. So let's not forget about it because there's still a game being played. I think WLG they're kicking something. There's something being done in here. Mirai is grabbing some kills. The first item coming through for a Kai'Sa. With from time to time we forget that it's not that bad at scaling.
No, she's not. She's not terrible at all at scaling. Much on the contrary. The thing about Kai'Sa most times is her hybrid builds. You know, it gets weird, and she doesn't deal immediate damage as a normal AD carry would.
Τώρα το θέμα είναι πώς θα παιχτούν και τα πράγματα στο teamfight, εντάξει. Και αν πάρει reset η Jinx. Οκ. Μπράβο ρε. Πες μου λίγο το game ρε, πώς το πάθαμε. Μπράβο, πάμε.
The moment Charlotte lands a knockout, there's gonna be Mirai jumping in with killer instinct, and her instinct was
Αυτό
good.
θέλει, αυτό θέλει.
That was a free kill for WLG.
The picks are coming in nicely. WLG are picking flowers, slowly but surely regaining a little bit of gold back into their pocket. Chromac trying to take the tower down for the feat of strength there. Not gonna happen. This is gonna back off. They have the grubs, they have 2 dragons, so they do have the objectives feat done on Vitality Rising Beast. So I guess it's down to the first tower here to see who gets the boot upgrades. Rising Beast seem to be the closest one right now. That's going to allow them to spike a little harder down in the mid game. But like you said, dragons are going to be important. I'm confident, just as you are, that WLG are going to be looking at those objectives from here on out.
The thing is that you are right. It's going to be up to the first hour of the game. And the thing is that you have Laylee defending the structure in there. There goes the final spark, and that's the damage. You need to appreciate the locks, but the stun from
Oh wow. Το έπαιξε. Μπράβο ρε λέει. Μπράβο. Τα πατήσαν όλα. Αυτό ήταν πολύ καλό.
Dude, Laylee is a natural dancer.
Έλα, πώς γίνεται να χάνουμε το στο bot ενώ είναι 4 άτομα στο top. Οι υπόλοιποι τι κάνουν.
The play of her life. She sidestepped everything that Vitality Rising Beast threw at her. Sidestepping Leona's ult, sidestepping the E, not allowing anybody to get close, buying enough time for Gertrude to come. Yeah, they lose the tower, but they don't concede the kill. WLG are looking completely different from game 1 here.
Yeah, kind of different. Let's see how it goes for them. Now they are just making their attempt to grab, which would be the first neutral objective for them. Because you were highlighting how Vitality Rising Beast got all the grabs, the 2 Drakes. These would be the first neutral objective. Boots are out of discussion, and they've already been secured.
Μπορούμε να φορσάρουμε fight εδώ νομίζω.
And a Herald is the objective from WLG. Vitality Rising Beast want to go in. There it goes. The goal.
Okay.
On the go.
Με πεθάνει Charlotte.
Charlotte is in trouble, but still alive somehow after.
Οκ, πέθανε η Jinx. Leona low, αλλά πρέπει να φύγουμε όλοι εδώ τώρα. Οκ, ωραίο flash. Δεν έχει flash η Layla όμως. Μπορεί να φύγει. Μπράβο. Οκ. Μπορούσαμε θεωρώ και καλύτερα ρε γάμο. Τώρα πήραμε το Herald.
A weird fight, I would have to say. VRB looked like they started off on the wrong foot there. They lost Nenris really fast, but the fact that they traded Wasi, taking down their smiter, bought them enough time to actually stay relevant in the fight. At the end of the day, Herald does fall on WLG. There's no objective bounties just yet, so they're going to have to find out a proper moment to use the Herald. Probably, I would say mid lane to force Rising Beast to respond to the Herald while they manage to or as they attempt to secure positioning on the Dragon. I think that would be an important play. But Rising Bees are coming ahead of it. They're already warding deep to know where WLG are going to sit.
Τι κάνει Poppy ρε?
it's being a bit of a headache for WLG to deal with Chromac this game. The KDA might not be pretty, but the fact Chromac pushed top lane, like Chang down the tower, Chang down the bottom tower and took it down for the boots upgrade. And she did the same with the mid lane tower, so she's pressing all the time. And now again Poppy's third gets this
όχι. Για λίγο θα έχουμε ulti, μην το παίξουμε τώρα.
Both teams trying to grab this Mountain Drake, they're important. Tanks are involved in this situation. The Chompers are great.
Okay, καλύτερα.
Now, this wasn't a free Drake for Vitality Rising. They even broke a sweat.
They were under pressure, but they kept their cool. Smite was on where it needed to be, and now it's up to WLG to try to take something back from that objective.
No.
It can't go a little bit too deep, or this might happen.
Oh, classic fighting over a blue buff.
Κάνουμε λίγο κάτι ψυχολόγητα ρε γαμώτο.
I mean, they want to grab it, but it was bold, of course. Everybody from Vitality Rising Beast was there. Where was it going?
I mean, that wasn't about grabbing the blue buff, it's about trying to grab something out of the fact that they just lost a dragon.
Oh,
and they're still going at it.
Walls are lava. Repeat with me. Walls
Τι
are lava.
ψυχολογητά είναι αυτά που κάνουμε ρε φίλε.
By Poppy, the call of the forest god from Gertrude. There is no tower there where you gonna
ματιάσαν τη βάση. Κάνει ό,τι να είναι.
Trying to grant some support for her team. Vitality Rising is not gonna be able to pick another kill, but it's 5-4, denying the recall. And the final spot with no cooldown at all, almost no cooldown at all, is gonna be there for the next wave clear or anything lately needs.
It still has some cooldown, but it is going to be a problem later in this game. Shot's taking a lot of damage from it. The squishier targets are not handling the final spark very well. So in clumpier team fights, I feel like Laylee is going to have a big role to play here. Everybody was discounting the Lux in the beginning.
Τώρα με παιχταράδες παίζουμε, αλλά μια χαρά μπορούμε να τις κερδίσουμε. Το θέμα είναι να κάνουμε κάτι τέρμα ανούσια λάθη.
Initial objectives are mostly going red side. The fights when
5v5
are mostly going red side. Gertrude is playing a hell of a game with Ornn.
Όχι, δεν είναι θέμα κάντρα. Είναι θέμα τι πατάμε.
Really important. If she keeps that up, she might give her team enough space to actually move.
You know, I want to bring back something you just said a few minutes ago, like
highlighting
watch πήγε στο μπλε, είχα στο flash.
Is it at this engage, and maybe we have a
good opportunity to discuss it
and was it try to engage on top of blue, which is Leona, which is tanky enough thanks to the W to resist the
δεν ξέρω γιατί χαζοκινείς τελείως. Εντάξει, late game νομίζω είμαστε πολύ πιο δυνατοί λόγω του Ornn.
True.
For WLG, we need to rely on these peaks here and then, but that's not gonna be that easy in a few minutes. It's not being easy right now at this moment.
No, it's not.
At least they still have a chance.
You're absolutely right. I completely oversaw Sha's scat of the week. We talked about Xin Zhao's ult. We talked about the problems, but we failed to mention that scatter of the week is a massive tool in the middle of a team fight, and they're going to try to force Herald mid now.
But now you're out of the Herald and you're in problem.
Okay.
At least you're rock and double. Knock up in there.
Goodbye.
And there goes Drama dealing with the problem.
As
everybody should be dealing with them with the hammer. Nervy's grabbing onto Wasi, and the goal comes. The code never goes. It goes
ρε
in
γαμώτο.
black and white, and those are 2 kills going over Vitality Rising. These 6-5 on the game. I feel it's getting a bit difficult for WLG.
It is, because VRB are adapting as we speak. We saw that going for Ornn on the front line wasn't working out, so VRB decided, you know what? If we can pop and cop at the front line, let's.
Oh, it's so obnoxious for Rakan.
Χάλασε ulti.
Poppy to go. It is. I think my Discord.
I mean, your Discord died. Okay,
I don't know for a second. I think I'm back. Were you not hearing me?
You're back. No, I'm listening to you.
Gas. Okay, now I was saying.
Voice.
Okay, so I was saying VRB did a wonderful readaptation of their fight, in the sense that initially they were just trying to take Ornn out of the fight, but they decided they noticed that okay, we can't take Ornn out of the fight, so what do we do? We saw Chromac reposition and actually ult the Rakan, like you were saying. Rakan and Mirai, they got taken out of the fight. They don't have re-engage. Wasi's already kind of low on the dumps. So they just manage the fight as it comes by removing the main engager, the main showstopper, Rakan. And I feel like that adaptation really won them a fight, and now they got all the pressure that they need in the mid lane.
You know, I gotta praise Kramak. Even though she was over-aggressive in some moments of the game, she pressured top, mid, bot, grabbed some first towers, some important objectives for the Fiddle 4 and the boot upgrades, and now she's just disrupting every attempt from WLG to go into the fight. Look at this! This is how you play Poppy. Forward, 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 with no fear at all, because how are they
forçarουμε fight.
gonna
Εντάξει,
engage
μπορούμε να παίξουμε
you?
πολύ
It's
poke με
impossible for
Kai'Sa
them.
looks.
Rakan
Γιατί δεν
is not being
ποκάρουμε.
able to play. Okay, do you wanna go in? That was Poppy saying, I'm allowing
Δεν έχουμε και όλη τη ρακάνια να
I'm
πούμε.
allowing this. But remember,
Αυτό, poke,
maybe
poke.
the next time I'm not allowing you. She needs the double.
Okay, δεν έχει ulti.
Was hammer and was not a good hammer. Wasi, where are you going? She's going back to base in black and white, and there goes the killer.
Oh, the scatter!
Deny. Absolutely deny. The scatter has been amazing, and then was setting going
Nice try.
over and over and over. More kills for Jinx. More kills for Jinx. Who's the pretty girl from Riot Games? It's not anymore Luxu. It's Jinx.
Sad.
That's the name from
Εγώ πιστεύω ότι μπορούσαμε να τις παίξουμε άνετα.
5 and 11 in the kill counting, Mountain Soul for Vitality Rising Muse, and the game looks over now.
What I want to know is who the heck stole her penta?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know. I don't know who died first. Honestly, but that was an amazing play. Nenris was really, really well
It wasn't
positioned.
Kraumak, it wasn't
Like-
Bloom. I think it was Yushia.
It probably was Yushia. Either that or Nenris stole Yushia's pentakill. It was Yushia. I remember
Yeah,
it was
that's true.
Yushia. Now, but the thing is, WLG were actually pushing VRB into a corner, and they were doing it so well. Their poke was working. They had to be patient. Lily's doing a lot of damage. They
Τώρα
can't
δεν
play
έχουμε
around
ελπίδα
Lily. But they
ποτέ.
ran out
7-2
of
Jinx.
patience. WLG decided to pull the trigger when they could just be pushing VRB back and back and back. Chromac was absolutely down. She was down to like 1/4 of her total HP, and that was a great time to be a WLG because the Dragon wasn't initiated yet. VRB hadn't made that decision, but WLG made that decision for them when they decided to go all in. As soon as they went all in, VRB just scattered, and they chose their targets accordingly.
The fact is that I kind of get the frustration from WLG when it comes to dealing with Poppy. Oh my God, Laylee, you may be in trouble. The
Yeah,
Q
she's
was
fine.
great. She had to flash away, no matter what. But she's safe and sound, at least for the time being. Towering the bot lane, and they're playing to break those juicy piñatas to grab some gold back from the side of WLG. It's not gonna be easy. Shachi being top side even to defend this second structure, but we're almost in 25 minutes into the game, which means that we're gonna dance around the Baron Nashor. This is the trap.
The
Kraumak,
dance of the bear.
Kraumak.
Δεν νιώθει καν.
Kraumak in trouble. I don't think so. She's so tanky.
Jinx να
She's so
πάμε.
tanky. There goes the
What is
invisible
Wasi
solar
doing?
flare as well. And blue side team is disappearing from Summoner's Reef. Charlotte about to die. She wants to dash, but there goes send a play from the side of Bloom. Double kill. The knock has been amazing and beautiful. Laylee grabs another kill, but Chromac again. Walls are lava. Walls are lava. The kill this time is not good enough, and this is gonna be another ace. Yet, yes, maybe you may end up killing Jinx, but there is still the Syndra to carry out this team fight, and this is gonna be
Δεν θα πω ότι
over.
παίξαν
This is
καλύτερα, θα πω ότι
not even
παίξαν
Riot
πολύ άθλια
Clearly
σήμερα.
grew
Αλλά δεν
tired
πειράζει. Η
yesterday
προσπάθεια μετράει.
After 2 45 minutes games, because today they are finishing right quickly enough.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to finish because they don't have the Jinx power spike to actually push through. But Wasi once again coming out of position completely from the rest of the squad. She managed to take out Nenris. The team wasn't able to respond to that fast enough. But as soon as they responded, WLG lost 2 members before the rest of the squad could actually stack up and do something with her.
It's fine. Εντάξει, παίζαμε ενάντια σε μια πολύ δυνατή ομάδα, την Vitality. Και το πρόβλημα είναι ότι αύριο παίζουμε εναντίον G2.
Like everything is in pure darkness. Right now, Charlotte is facing some risk in there, just going to ward, and there goes Bloom, clears the vision, and we're back into darkness. Like if we were able to actually see WLG's vision, it would be impossible. Right now, it's impossible. They can imagine that Vitality Rising Bears are the ones grabbing the Baron Nashor, and they've got the confirmation right away. But how are you gonna contest it?
No, you can't contest it. There's already way too much pre-established vision on WLG's side of the map. Look at that. If you look at the red side vision, it's like a Christmas tree on that top side map. It's weird how VRB managed to get that much pressure in that little time. It's just coordination. 2 fights in a row. where WLG were actually the ones that pulled the trigger, just counter-responded by VRB, and you lose everything that you've built in the early game. WLG, they had a tenuous lead, but they had a lead nonetheless. They were actually starting to sit VRB down just a tad, but I guess they got over-ambitious at some point there.
I don't know if it's ambitious or it's just Kermac pressing W. As you say, they get the frustration on dealing with the bubble. Like, you cannot engage 90% of the times, and the moment you see that you can go through, it's like, I'm grabbing this chance. No matter what, no matter the consequences I'm going in. Wazzy wants to go in it again. She even flashed go ultimate, but she got caught in the middle, not ranged enough. And there goes the double kill for Yushia. The Rocket saying hello, maybe going for you, AC. This is a massacre. This is just a massacre. Mirai still alive, but the Force guys can't do miracles at this point of the game. 720 in the kill count, and that's another victory for Vitality, rising this in less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, 2 in a row. That just goes to show that VRB know exactly the ring condition. They know how to play it perfectly. 2-0 puts them in a solid position in the groups, and they showed that
GG, well played.
No, yesterday was nothing enough. Look, they played late at night. Games were long, so right now they wanted to end this fast, and you could feel it. Those were two stumps and really convincing ones from the side of Vitality Rising Beast. Everybody kind of got a highlight at some moment.
Όλα καλά. Λοιπόν, πάμε να κάνουμε race στη Μιάουι. Στη Valorant player μας. Να στηρίξουμε. Πείτε ένα γεια στο κορίτσι. Φιλάκια πολλά από μένα. Τα λέμε αύριο εναντίον G2. Vamos.
All over the map. She was present everywhere.
She needed to be in the fights, and she was in the fights that she was needed above all. And I guess at the end